Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee or your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get started on those red hot topics, please go to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got toast. Believe me, we've got you covered. And also, you could purchase my book, Life After the Diagnosis. If you know a survivor or you are a survivor, this is the book that you need. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started right, shall we?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show, honey. Grab your coffee and your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. And of course, like the commercial says, before we get started, please visit the website www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got everything you need. We've got hats, we've got cups, we've got t-shirts, we've got it all, honey. So, as you well know, I know you follow me, my beautiful paintings. So, basically, the month of February is the love month. Not only Black history, but the love month, honey. All month long, we have been talking about what love is. Now, we've, of course, had couples on the show in the morning and in the evening. So we want you to always tune in the morning, Central, 9 o'clock, Eastern, 10 o'clock. In the evenings, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, honey, because these couples have been phenomenal. Okay, so I want you to tune in. I want you to chime in because the show is not a show without you. Good morning, Kimberly. How are you? Oh my gosh, girl, how have you been? It has been a minute. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. So, we're going to get started. And of course, like I said, couples. And this morning, we have my number one, my baby boo, my king of all kings. Well, the Lord is king of all kings, but y'all know what I'm talking about, the king of my house, Gary Monroe. Hey, honey.
What's that? I got my workout gear on because I'm going to do a
little running.
Yeah, a little exercising afterwards.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So we got a good show for you guys. So we want you to chime in, tune in, ask questions, all that good stuff. Now, of course, we had a few questions from the audience, and we got more. Yes, we got some different questions from the audience that wanted to know what love is. And just,
What is it?
What?
How do you spell relief?
How do you spell relief?
Yeah. How do you spell love?
How do you spell love?
Yes.
Love.
No, ask me how you spell love.
Oh, okay. How do you spell love?
Monalisa.
What is he spelling? M-O-N. He left the A. Monalisa. Okay. All right. Very nice. Love that intro of the king of your house. Okay, honey, cause thank you. Okay, so we're going to get started with some questions from the audience. Keep them coming, honey, because we love communication, conversation. You know what I'm saying. Conversing with one another. So here we go. First question on the floor is what percentage would you say love has in a marriage? Ooh, that's really, really good. Okay, so I think love has, I would say, okay, let me be real. I would say love has 70% in a marriage. 70. What would you say?
33 and a third.
33 and a third.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I would say.
All right. And we're going to elaborate.
Yes,
Of course. So I said 70 because love covers a multitude of sin. So
I don't know.
love,
Wait a minute. Love covers
love
a
covers.
multitude of sins.
That is correct.
I will not
So,
take that.
okay, I'm going to elaborate. Trust me.
Please do.
Okay. So love is forgiving. Right, Kimberly. So love is forgiving.
You gotta get me in the camera. I want at least. I know this is a
Lo-
show. I need some
So-
shine too.
Okay, you gonna glow, baby.
I will.
So love, like I was saying, love covers. Okay. So love covers arguments. Love covers mistakes. Love covers confusion. I think love is 70% of a marriage. Now, the other three, I think finances are 10. I think communication is 10. And then that last 10 is laughter. So there we go. 70 love, 10 finances, 10 communication, and 10 laughter. There's my explanation of my 70. Go ahead, honey. You said 33
And a third.
and a third.
So, since you said something, I would say a fourth, because you included a fourth here. And as I alluded to previously in the show,
Uh-huh.
marriage is, for me,
Uh-huh.
like lust, laughter,
Okay.
and love.
Like, love, laughter,
And lust.
and lust. Like, love, laughter, and lust.
And lust comes under the category of desiring your spouse.
Okay, because you know lust.
No, you got to put things in context. You desire your wife and you desire your
Mhm.
husband. You lust them. You have a lustful desire for them. You know, a craving for them.
A craving.
Yeah, you have an appetite for them. You're thirsty for them.
You have a thirst.
You have a thirsty.
I would say 100%. It has to be 100 to consistently deal with another's what is it?
Ideology is
Ideologies.
idiosyncrasy.
Idiosyncrasy. Okay, can relax.
Mhm.
And for this morning, when you wake up and look over on the other side of the bed, like, oh, hi, I would have to love you all the way. The good times are easy, but them other days, woo, child. Ooh, you know it's true, girl. You know it's true. 100% love, though. Would you say? I mean, a full 100%.
Well, 100%. Right?
Well, yeah, you know, hey, everybody's got their,
100%,
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. You know, and you're not the only one, Kimberly. It's a lot of people out there that it's like, now,
Love conquers all.
love conquers all type of mentality. Now, on the flip side of that, it's some folks that do not consider love being a factor in marriage at all. It's a business
Right.
partnership.
It's a partnership.
Yeah, what do you say about that?
I mean, I know people like that.
Wow.
That love is, look at my 4 L's,
Mhm.
you know, because you stated it's a partnership, it's a business,
Mhm.
it's the benefits of approaching and engaging life
Mhm.
with a financial partner.
Right. Right.
So in some instances, laughter is of no concern. Like is of no concern.
Everything.
Lust is of no concern.
Mm.
Love is of no concern.
Yikes.
It's all about just
Business.
life.
Ooh.
I guess that would be the other L.
Ooh.
It's just about life and the quality of life that marriage per se provides the two, or at least one of them. You know.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of people are unfortunate. Well,
Well,
hey,
you know,
man.
which hey, that's the last thing we want to do.
I can't say
is
unfortunate.
judge anybody's marriage. It's just that we're talking
because you know you mentioned something the other week as far as the divorce rate in church,
60%.
right? So, but you have people that, and just putting it in this context, I'm not calling anyone an atheist or ungodly or something like that, but God is not a priority, say per se in your marriage. You know, well, let's just deal with the L's. Like, love, lust, and laughter is irrelevant in their marriage, and they'll be married for 50 years to death do them part. Because what that marriage, the quality of life and the security and stability of life
is their number one.
That's their number one.
That's their number one.
And so they'll be married forever.
Wow.
Without like, without love, without lust, without laughter.
That's straight partnership.
It's about life.
And you know, some people are calling marriage a partnership. You know, that's my partner instead of that's my husband or that's my wife. I mean, there's new terminology now dealing with marriage. I mean, marriage is just not the same. You know, a lot of people feel like open marriage is the way to go now, or like partnership versus husband and wife. And then some don't even get married. It's like this common law situation where you're together. In Texas, if you're together more than 10 years, you're common law married.
Right.
I don't know if it's like that in Georgia.
I don't know what the law is.
Shoot, Texas.
I know there's a common law law.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is, but I don't know what's the how many years.
I think I did the business thing before. Wow, Kimberly, where it just made logical sense. For real? And the result was not good. Oh, yeah. As you stated, love covers all. That includes laughter, lust, good times, and bad. And those days when you want to kiss, and those days when you want to punch. Right? I mean, because that's real talk. You know, everybody, it's not roses, it's not strawberries, it's not whipped cream and all that every day, because you got two different people coming together.
That was Kimberly. Yeah.
Yes, Kimberly.
So if you don't mind, Kim, elaborate. And you're not able to get them here and express verbally.
But what do I know?
That side of just being, you said that you experienced it with just being a business partnership, and at the end of the day,
right,
it was not good.
Mm-hmm.
What advice or what observations or insight can you give to perhaps someone who's in that type of relationship? Whether they are legally married or just living together. But the whole of it is for the benefits of going through life with a partner. Like I said, I know you're sending.
Well, she said, but what do I know? I'm married. I'm twice divorced, and then nonetheless, God has been good. God has been better than good to me. I agree. So, in that particular situation, you said it didn't end well. So, what did you learn, or what did you, I guess, learn, right? After the divorce, what would you sit back and tell someone who is going down that path and saying, this is what we want to do, this is the way we want to do it? What would you say to them? And you know, I've been divorced before, and so have my husband. So we've learned, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We've learned some things, you know, and I would suggest a whole bunch to people who want to get married young, because I got married at 23. How old were you?
26.
Okay.
First
marriage 26. Okay. I would suggest at 23, you don't know much about yourself, more or less, trying to work with a person that's
But
totally.
I won't hold that against him
Well,
as
we're
far as
just.
saying, being young, because that's what marriage is. It's growing together.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when you read the scriptural text
Hmm.
in Genesis, when a man leaves a father and mother and cleave to his wife, the two become one flesh.
True.
And that's the thing. We know we talk about being equally yoked spiritually,
Hmm.
right? And so a lot of times you can enter into a relationship and you are equally yoked spiritually.
Uh-huh.
But where the conflict comes in, and where a
Compatibility.
lot of Christians,
Yeah.
this is why we have divorces in a lot of Christians, because
Mm.
we don't understand the flesh becoming one.
Mm.
Because we are so concentrated on the spiritual aspect, but you're talking about two flesh becoming one,
Uh-huh.
and that's a process that it begins and never ends. You're consistently becoming one flesh, and so you're growing.
Hmm.
So it's a beautiful thing.
The compatibility of it all.
A couple that marry young. In fact, the word of God says, "Bear your burdens while you're young."
Bear your burdens.
Bear your burdens while you're young. So you go through those things, and if you're able to endure those things as a young couple, I don't care if you're married at 18, right out of high school, and you two know that. Bringing it back to your series, love.
Love.
You love one another. You like one another.
Mm-hmm.
You have laughter with one another,
Mm-hmm.
and you lust one another. And you're young, and you just build on it and
Well,
grow with it.
I see your point, but the reason why I say it is because when you're young, you're still trying to figure out who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are. And if you marry someone as a woman, you then have to cater or basically take care of your mate and your children, if you have any. So at that point, it's a lot. It's a lot of dynamics for a woman. I can only speak for a woman. At that point, at 23, I'm learning, what do I want to do? What do I want to look like? What's going to be my footprint on the earth? You're just trying to get yourself together. And
Right.
being married, you now have to turn into a wife. Okay, I can't be a wife if I don't even know who I am yet. So that's my suggestion, because I was growing into who I was in my 20s, and then I started to look different. I started to look different to my husband at the time. And then it's like, who are you? You changed. I don't know. No, I'm just growing into who I am. Now, if you marry early to a person who's willing to stretch and grow with you,
And
that's good.
right. That's what I want to say. I mean, that's been some that perhaps that was your experience.
Right.
But that's the beauty of it.
Mhm.
That you say that a person doesn't know themselves yet, and they're growing into who they
Yeah.
are. On a positive side,
Uh-huh.
taking the positive, that is the beauty of marriage. I don't care if you marry at 50.
You still gotta grow.
You two
Yeah.
still have to grow into knowing one another.
That's true.
So that's the beauty of someone marrying young,
Mm.
and the two are growing and experiencing life together.
Yeah.
And so you think of at that juncture position, think of the end of that journey. They married young.
Uh-huh.
They grew and experienced and learned life together. And here they are, 50 years later, 60 years later.
Yeah.
Just imagine the story that they had.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
True.
That they grew through life together.
Right.
In thinking of the positive, you see.
In short, I've learned that both people need to equally value each other. Amen. And love has to be at the core as well. In my situation, he didn't find me valuable, and anything you didn't value, you eventually throw away. Girl, you better preach today.
And you don't value it.
Yeah. And then my first marriage, I was 18. Y'all know I didn't have a clue what I was doing and had no business getting married. He was 19, by the way. See, that's it, to
But
me.
again,
I agree with you, Kimberly. It's like it's early in the game, and how does he know to value you? Okay, 19. How does he know to value you as a wife at 19? At 19, he's just getting out of high school. He's just trying to do what he needs to do. It's no. Now, back in the day, like my grandmother, they got married at 16, 17, 18, but that was a life decision because of the situation, because of the circumstances, because you had to take care of the farm, you got to pick cotton, you had to do that early to get a family in order to survive. So it was totally different. They had children to help in the field. It wasn't like I want to hold the baby and put lace and all of that on them. They had to work.
but
Okay.
I take the positive.
Oh, well,
on that. I take the
understandable.
positive on that
Understandable.
because it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful marriage is
It's
a beautiful thing.
This relationship is a
Beautiful.
beautiful thing.
It was the
And,
second spouse who had the value issue, girl.
It
He was
doesn't.
44
It doesn't.
and I was 40.
It doesn't matter
Now, he knew
how
better.
young or old. It goes back to your series topic, and that's love.
Well, like Kimberly was saying, he was 44. What?
Well, in the second
Yeah.
relationship,
And
it
now
was the second
now
marriage.
you old and
Right.
still don't know.
So it
yeah.
wasn't the first marriage. It wasn't the first marriage at 16 or 18 or
Right,
19.
right, right,
The
right,
second
right.
marriage that
So
didn't value.
right. So hey, it is what it is, right? So second question on the floor. What is your take on the understanding of marriage in the 21st century? That is a good question because now I don't understand the mentality that's going around right now about marriage. It's like it's a piece of paper.
I mean, you've always had that sentiment, but
And they were talking about. I mean, woo, now open marriage is like the thing.
you hear more about
It's
It's
crazy.
more about what do you bring to the table, opposed to
Yeah.
the love that you have for one
What
another.
are you bringing to the table?
That's it. It's people. Hey man, what are you bringing to the table?
Gentlemen, I
What do
need
you
y'all
have
to chime in on that.
What do you have to offer? And that's male and female. I mean, we're living in a time of you know equal opportunity.
Yes.
So it used to be, the man, what he's bringing to the table,
Yeah.
in part.
Yeah.
But now, brothers are equally saying, young guys are
What are
equally
you
saying,
bringing to the
listen, what are you bringing to the table?
What?
All you have to offer is good sex. You're beautiful. And is that all you're bringing to the table?
Is that all you bringing?
And
Is swinging from some poles?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So again, that goes back to the partnerships type marriages. So it may not be a partnership, but people are coming together and they're making their final decision on whether to marry this person based on what this person is bringing to the table,
Right.
opposed to just raw love.
Yeah.
And going
What
back
are you
to
bringing?
being 18 or 19, guess what? I don't have anything on the table, but I know I love you.
Well, yeah,
There's
that
nothing
young.
on the table. We just
That's
love
true.
one another.
That's true.
I just want to spend my life with you. We want to grow. We actually have to build a table.
Right. Yeah, that's
I mean?
a benefit of young.
Whether it's young.
No, because when you get
young.
older, you're looking for something to be on the table.
Yes, and I mean you got to have you're coming with something, but what is wrong with two people meeting one another?
Uh-huh.
And irrespective of if you have all of this to put on the table, you two have to build your own table.
Uh-huh. Right.
You have to what you call it, set and spread your own table.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's not a ready-made thing.
Right.
So I think that's what marriage is premised of marriage in today's society, in today's time?
I,
What are you bringing
I
into
don't think it's as strong as it used to be considered because um, the cultures are because a lot of cultures look at marriage differently as well because when you talk about India believes in blind marriages. I mean, it's like the girl gets ready and she meets her husband the day of the wedding, and now you have shows that are doing that, and these marriages are falling apart, and some of them
well,
are lasting.
but
It's just different. 90-day marriage and
and right. So to
marriage at
that,
first sight.
our observations of marriage are cultural biases.
Cultural biases.
Right. Our observations, whether we're black, African American, white, or whether you are of another nationality, your view of marriage is
It's a certain
significantly
Oh, that's good. Based on your culture.
based on your culture.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? So
Well, you know what I can't stand about that is because they say that black people don't respect and honor marriage. So you made a great observation during the football season. You hardly ever saw a football player's wife being shown in the
a
audience,
black football player.
but yet you saw the white football players'
You see it all the
wives
time.
being shown. And so it's
All the
like
time you see that. Yeah.
why don't, and then it's just not celebrated.
Right.
I mean, black love,
Right.
black marriage, black fathers.
Right.
You just really gotta, we're out there. Marriages, happily married.
You know what? You know what?
marriages. Not no
And I
basketball
know
wives,
somebody got a wife.
housewives.
Somebody will be able to get those numbers down. How many NFL players are there total? How many African American NFL players there are total?
That's married.
And then how many of them are married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you're watching these sports events, the camera never shows, right, on their wives
No.
or their families,
No.
anything like that.
Yeah.
But what they always show is their mothers, because the and understand me, because the indication is that guy came from a single family home. He was raised in a home with no dad. So usually you just see when they show
Well, I mean,
a guy's family, they just show his mother, and that's not the majority of the guys.
well, I mean, the numbers don't lie. It is the numbers don't lie. It's a lot of people that are black that were raised in single homes.
Now,
I mean,
there's
the
a lot of
stats
people-
are not lying.
There's a lot of people, period,
Well,
black or white. It's just more so highlighted in the black community
Yeah.
in that sense.
yeah.
So that's the only observation that I'm making is when you're talking about display,
Mhm.
as you alluded to, black love.
Well, we got some comments on Facebook. I want to acknowledge everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning,
Good
cuz. Hey, cuz, what's up? Love the topic of discussion. I believe love is the umbrella for trust, honesty, loyalty, and respect. And if not, 100 from both participants will not work. If you have 100 or less, it won't work. Jenny, good morning, Jenny. We tell our kids marriage is serious. Do not play house. Do not live with or move in before marriage. They ask, how will you know how the person is before marriage? Our answer, you learn as you grow. And that is so true, Jenny. And Jenny is Hispanic. So, like we were saying, it's different cultures that say different things to their children about marriage. And I was raised by a single parent. And marriage, she was married for about 10 years. And, a broken home made me want a home, And so it's just different dynamics that cause different thoughts or processes about marriage. So let's go to the third question now. Would you have waited now that you know about marriage? Would you have waited? Yes, I would have waited. Like I said, I've been divorced. So I would say I would have waited until I was late in life, maybe 30s, when I already, you know, found out what I wanted to do, found out who I was, and started, the ambition trail. And I would have waited. And so this would have been my first marriage. But it's all good, life tells the tale. But yeah, I would have waited. What about you?
No.
Okay.
And I say no because that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Each time, it's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Each time is what I believed in at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, just the unfortunate side of it is it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no regrets as far as saying taking that plunge or putting it in that context. But no, I have no regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that's in life for me, period. I have no regrets.
You have no regrets?
You make mistakes. That's life. You
Yeah.
make mistakes and you learn from them mistakes.
True.
Or I put it to you like this. I was working on a job years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working with a senior gentleman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in this paint department and studying chemicals and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I were painting one day,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just say 4 corners, 4 walls.
Okay.
So he's taking all day slowly painting one wall.
Wax
I
on,
painted,
wax off.
yeah, I painted 3 sides. I painted 3 sides, right?
Yeah, you were flying.
I'm just painting, and I'm looking at him. Come on, Mr. Shorty, man. Come on, man. Yo, catch up,
Uh-huh.
And so at the end of the day, now he's packed up and ready to go. Right when time to knock off, he's packed up, ready to go. Here I am. I'm cleaning brushes. I'm trying to wipe down runs, drips, and errors, and all of this. So now he has to wait an extra 30 minutes for me before we can leave the site because I'm cleaning up the mess. He says to me, they used to call me Money. Some people still do. He said, Money, you know the difference between a good painter and a bad painter?
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, a good painter, because I'm looking at his work, and I said, well, a good painter doesn't have any runs, drips, or errors. He says, no, all painters want to have runs, drips, and errors.
Uh-huh.
The difference between a good painter and a bad painter is a good painter cleans his mess up as he goes. And so that's the same thing, unlike myself. I just was painting.
And then you had to clean up
Now
after.
at the end, I got this
Oh.
huge mess
Right.
that
Yeah,
I have
good.
to clean up. So the point that I'm making is I have no regrets.
Mhm.
Those were some runs, drips, and errors, but I learned to clean them.
Y'all can
in
tell
life.
he a pastor. See, that was a sermon. That was a sermon with 3 points.
Yeah. So
that was an intro, 3 points, and a
Yeah.
conclusion.
Let's
See
deal
what
with the
I
runs. Let's deal with the runs.
That was
Let's
a
deal with
pastor
the
move.
drips.
That was a pastor
Let's
move.
deal with the errors. And let's clean this thing up.
All right, now. See, we're gonna have them all do a sermon in a minute. Okay. Another question: how important is finances in a marriage? Well, like I said, I think it's 10%. Remember, I said 70% love, 10% communication, 10% what is it? 10 finances, communication, and I think I said laughter. That's what I said. Laughter, communication, finances, 70% love.
One thing I've learned in politics is this: as being
Politics and marriage.
been talking about finances.
Well, we talk about finances in a marriage.
And one thing I've learned in politics, everything around politics is revolves around a budget, and revenue funds a budget. Okay, revenue, the streams of income, revenue funds a budget.
Mhm.
So while love, life, laughter,
Don't
lust,
pay no bills.
all of those things, sustains a marriage, revenue funds the marriage. You have to have a source of revenue in order to fund your marriage. You got to be able to fund your laughter. You got to be able to fund your lust. You got to be able to fund your love.
Because, well, you know what?
But
It's a lot of broke folks that still have laughter,
right,
still have love, and still, you know what I'm saying?
well, that's those
Communication.
Times, that's those times. Again, you're going through marriage, it's young, and
But what
you
percentage?
have that. I can't put a percentage to it.
Well, how important is it? I mean,
It's
what would you
important
say?
because, as I alluded to, it's important because you have to fund the marriage.
Yeah.
You have to fund the marriage. You have to fund the love. So
Uh-huh.
it's very important.
But it's not in the top
But
tier.
you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Uh-huh.
See, I try to speak to the public. I'm not saying that.
Because a lot of marriages divorce based on finances.
Okay, listen, man. I remember we talked about this last night.
Mm.
I was blessed and fortunate enough to come up to be raised in the two-parent household.
Yes,
Okay,
that's a blessing.
both parents worked, but there were financial times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So much so, there was Candyland time. That's a game, board game.
Candyland.
Candyland, Monopoly.
Ooh, Monopoly.
What was the little operator?
Oh, I
right?
love that game. Operation.
And Operation.
Yeah.
But when we played those board games, when the lights were out,
Well, yeah.
when the water was off, right?
Everybody has it. Those hard times.
So in those hard times, the family still jail.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Lights out, candles on.
Mm.
We're sitting there playing Candyland.
Yeah.
And my father and mother worked through it.
Yeah.
And they were able to build a life as they matriculated through life.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up building a home for his family.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his pride.
Right.
Building a home for his family. I remember my father saying, once we got older,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of his friends were taking second mortgages and refinancing the homes, taking the surplus and buying a whole lot of things. And he said this. He said the only reason I'll refinance or take a second mortgage out, not even for us, he says, will be for Chloe, my mother.
Okay.
If she
wanted something?
If she would ever get sick or in need.
Oh.
He said that's the only reason it'll be for her.
Okay.
Now, when we were kids, he said it'll be for you all. But once we were adults and we were out, he said that's the only reason he would take a second mortgage out if he needed, some equity, take some equity out of the home. But that's the point that I'm making is revenue funds the marriage. It funds the love. It supports the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, hey, I just don't think it's yeah, but some people, like I said, it's been marriages that break up based on finances.
Yeah, and it's one thing to say you're struggling financially because of, you both work and you're doing the best you can
because of life.
Right. It's another thing.
If the woman goes shopping all the time.
You talking about you?
No, I said a woman. Oh, whatever. So
this woman.
No. You have a lot of men that are losing it to going to get
I am losing it.
TVs.
I am losing it. Okay, boy.
That's not true. I am a stickler when it comes to certain things.
That's
stickler. All it is.
Listen.
I'm a stickler when it comes to certain things. It's just certain things that I have to have as
Mona Lisa,
as who I am to keep
Mona Lisa. can stretch a nickel,
Yes.
right?
See? Amen.
Boy, she could spin a dime. God, mighty goodness. What?
I can stretch a nickel,
But she can spin a
but
dime.
spin a dime. What does that mean?
Look here. You put $1,000 in that pocket today. It's
That ain't true.
It's 10:42.
That ain't true.
11 o'clock.
No,
I'm
see.
gonna say this in Maigichi. 11 o'clock, that $1,000 is gone.
No, it's like this.
But if I give her a nickel, shit, man.
It's like
that nickel, come back home with 20 bags of groceries.
Well, see, that's the thing.
But if I give her $1,000, she's gonna come back home with 1,000 bags of
ladies. Okay, so let me just talk to the ladies right now. Okay. So what I do is I say, okay, give me a budget. When you give me when you give me a budget,
that's a dangerous thing.
When you give me a budget,
That's
I'll operate in the budget. Now, if you give me money, then that's my money to spend whatever I want to spend on it. So
going back to politics, all right? What is first rule of thumb when it comes to a budget in politics?
A budget in
politics.
You go
when you earmark resources to a particular capital investment in politics. You earmark $100,000 or $1 million to a project, right? That's in the budget. If you don't spend that $1 million, right? If you don't spend that $1 million,
it will be spent,
right? If you don't spend it, the next year, right? You don't get it. So Mona Lisa has that approach. Well, you budgeted me $2,000, so guess what? I'm spending all of it.
Well, it's just like sick leave at work.
Yeah.
It's just like sick leave at work.
That's her approach.
Are you going to leave days on the table at the end of the year?
You don't leave.
You're going to spend your sick days. Anyway, last question on the floor is, what do you think the key to marriage is? Now, we love this question for the month of February because a lot of people out there may not be coupled up or may be coupled up, and these marriages are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone's marriage is different. And so we wanted to make this personal to say, what is the key to our marriage? You know, so of course, we got, two different folks in front of you right now, and we might just think the key is the same, or maybe we think it's different.
I think the key is the ability to unlock her door.
Unlock my door.
Yeah, with that key. Like I said to you, is yes. Love the woman, lust the woman, but there's nothing greater than making the little girl in her laugh.
Yeah, I remember you said that. That was sweet.
Is making the little girl in her laugh.
Like we did last night. Oh my God.
Yeah, I probably burned about 1,500 calories.
We had such a good time last night. So,
and I'm gonna tell you, Dana, Kenneth, Lamar, if y'all out there, we were laughing about Pee Wee. Y'all know my
So anyway, the key.
And we sent some love out to Dana.
Dana. Hopefully you get better soon, my love.
I gotta give you a call. I'll give you a
Yes,
shot.
definitely. So the last few minutes of the show, we want to, of course, like we said, give shout out to Dana. Get well, girl, get well. And I wanted to personally thank the folks that's been on the show so far. We have absolutely adored you. And the internet was on fire. I mean, you guys really helped some folks. And some people were chiming in saying how grateful You guys were. We got some comments. Hold on.
Look what
We got comments. Jenny,
look what she says.
have a good day. I'm heading out to spend my budget. You better go, girl.
See, that wasn't the message. That wasn't the
You
message.
better go, girl.
Is she married? Is she married?
Jenny, are you married?
Because I'm
I
gonna
think Jenny
talk to
is.
you. You know, I'm gonna let your husband know if you're married, you're dating.
Jenny.
I didn't tell her to spend the budget now.
Jenny, go spend your budget, girl.
So
So yeah, we wanted to thank all the couples.
that's a good thing.
That's.
Go
I mean,
spend
we
your
had
budget.
so much fun.
That's gonna be the new catchphrase.
Spend your budget.
Spend your But you know the thing to that is
your budget.
spend your budget. So brothers, give them a budget.
Give me a budget, and I'll
Give them
spend
a blank
it.
check.
No, who would you give a blank check to? I mean, come on.
Not you.
Well, hey.
Shoot.
The month of February is our love month, and once again, we'll have some couples on in the morning and at night. Awesome, awesome sauce, and hopefully we'll have Gary back tonight for the couple conversation. If not,
I have to
I
go to
will.
work.
I will.
I gotta go get this budget.
I will hold it down. No problem.
I gotta go get this budget.
But we want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And once again, please go to the website www.monalisamonroe.com. And of course, we always give, because this is a pastor and I'm a minister, we always give the conclusion to the sermon.
Which is
Pastor minister.
I'm just money.
Okay. So what?
But I respect.
Okay, well, amen. So what would you give to couples or singles? What word would you give them about the L word? Love.
And that's it. Just love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Just love what you do. Just love being in what you have.
Mm-hmm.
While we can sit here and give our personal observations and opinions, and people can log on and give their ideology of what a marriage is. At the end of the day, it's what works in your house.
What's working in your household.
Bottom line. And you two have to be on the same page. And literally have to be on the same page. It's interesting that the word speaks of that in the house there are 3 against 2, 2 against 1, something to that effect. And in that dynamic, it's mother-in-law against daughter, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law in that respect, and then father against son. It's interesting. It didn't say husband against wife or wife against husband. That's not the problem. It's all of the dynamics outside of you two that challenges the relationship. So you two have to be on the same page in confronting life and approaching life, going through life. It's interesting also when you look at the creation of man as described and defined in the Bible, and then you look at the fall of man. We know that God approached the 3 beings at that time. He approached Adam, he approached Eve, and he approached Satan. And his approach gives observation to Adam, where art thou? He asked Adam a question. And Adam was out of presence of God. And he said, well, because of that woman that you gave me. So God goes to Eve, and he asked Eve, what is this thou hast done? He asked her a question. Now, a question implies that you are answerable to me. But when he goes to the 3rd being, Satan, the devil, he did not ask question. He passed judgment. He said, because of you, this has happened.
Mhm.
And husbands and wives have to realize in times of distress, you have to stop and take a look back and see, where is the devil in the room? Because it is because of him that you two are in this conflict. And you
Wow.
always have to be cognizant of where he is in the room. Okay? So when you're having conversations, disagreements in particular, or just making decisions, when you two get to a place where there's an impasse, or you get to a place where there's a conflict, and you two are coming at one another, be careful. Be careful and be mindful of where he is in the room, because he simply said, because of you, this has happened. And you can have husband and wife going at one another, and he's sitting on the sideline like this, and the two of you are oblivious
Of what?
of him just sitting there saying,
Wow.
okay, yeah, I've set the stage, you're going.
Right.
Okay?
That's good.
So just be mindful of that.
Of who's in the room.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a sermon too. All right, Pastor. Be mindful of who's in the room. I love that. Love.
Of not just who, like you don't know, of where he is in the room.
Yeah,
Or
where
if he is
where he
in the
is
room.
in the room.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I would just say, to couples or singles, love is something that, to me, and this is of course our opinions, is definitely an action word. It's not something that you feel because your feelings are so fickle. You can be up one moment and down the next. So love is not like that. Love is totally action. So love is sacrifice. Love is consideration. Love is intention. So love is something that you do, not something that you feel. Okay. So with couples, love is showing your mate, your partner, different aspects of you, and also at the same time enjoying the differences of them. So loving your spouse is showing how much you love them and doing something for them that they might like or love. So I just think love is always moving. It's always doing. So as a couple, do for one another. That's love. And as a single person, love yourself. Doing what? Doing whatever you want that makes you happy, right? And so when that self-care, if you pour that self-care into you, when that person comes along, you'll be able to give that to them.
And,
Right?
you said something, how do you say this now? You're showing yourself to this person,
Mm-hmm.
to that fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a benchmark of how do I know this person is the one. And I'm as a pastor, woman of God, but I've always said, it's not the anointing
Mm-hmm.
that you have to protect
Mm-hmm.
as a minister, just as anyone, as a politician. It's your commonality. Everyone cannot handle your commonality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you're in your common space, how you talk in your common space. You have somewhat of refined Gary Monroe conversing now, right? But in my common space, you get all of that Geechee coming in, right? But don't make my subjects and verbs agree. I don't care about making my subjects and verbs agree. Okay, in my common space, right? So, but you know that this person is special, male or female. When you are comfortable,
Giving them that common space.
allowing them into that common space.
Yeah.
When you are comfortable in allowing them to see your vulnerabilities.
Right.
You're comfortable.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
totally agree with that.
Your insecurities.
I totally agree.
And then it's not only you feel comfortable, but it's also how they respond to seeing your commonality,
Yeah,
your vulnerabilities, and your insecurities.
yeah.
Um,
Because not
because
everybody.
if I reveal my commonality, this I've always said this. And Richard Scott and I, we're good friends, best of friends, and we always said we learned when we became best of friends is that a best friend is someone you can pray with. And I'm not just talking about praying just to say have a prayer partner, but someone you can go in that dark closet, you can go in that closet and pray your darkest secrets.
Yeah.
And when y'all get through praying and walk out,
Y'all still cool.
we still cool. He doesn't look at me in any kind of way.
Right. No
in,
judgment.
in that respect or regard.
Right.
So that's the same thing how when the person responds to your commonality or your vulnerabilities, your insecurities in that capacity. You know,
Right.
it's one of those things whereas I still love you.
I still love you.
I still like you.
I still like you.
I mean, I wake up in the morning and your breath is not fresh, but I still love you. I still lust after you. You know, go gargle and then come back
And then
give me
come
a
back.
kiss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's real talk, y'all.
right,
I just want
that's
y'all to
real-
know that. That's real talk.
What are you trying to say about that?
No, what I'm saying. Anyway,
but
that's a good
yeah,
point. That's a good point.
That's
That-
a good benchmark.
That realness
Yeah,
of it all.
you are comfortable in being around this person,
Mhm.
and then you are observant of that person's response or reaction to
To-
your commonalities. The funny thing with Mona Lisa and I is she's like, my commonality is, I like to laugh and joke. And her thing is, how can a man be so articulate, so intelligent? You can get up and you minister and pastor. You can go before council and you can chair a council meeting. And you're so smart and so intelligent. And then when you get home, you're just so ignorant.
No, it's
No,
not.
he's
He's just goofy. He likes to have a good time. It's so funny to me.
Said,
I love it. I love it. And then,
I'll use phrases that'll just be like,
but
what is
for me though, it's like I try to present myself as very professional. I do, and I try to, be this, professional person. But I'm telling you right now, I have a laugh that is so loud. If you get that laugh, then I trust you because that laugh does not supposed to come from a person of this stature and of this
right.
because it is loud. So
I got it out of her within 1 week.
That's not true. That's not true. We talked for a good 3 months before you got that laugh.
She tried to hold it back. I got it out of her.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show today. Once again, please go to the website and please tune in tonight. You don't want to miss it. Tonight, we're going to have a fabulous couple on. Hopefully, they'll be able to jump on. I know, Texas has some crazy weather, so hopefully they'll be able to jump on. Thanks for tuning in to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show. We love you. We love you. We appreciate everything about you. And take care. Bye-bye.